Hi, this is Gary Mitchell. It's another session of Manufacturing Connection. In the past couple of months, I've had a lot of things going on and several trips and several changes. So I did the Honeywell User Group, also known as HUG. The interesting thing about HUG this year was attendance was up significantly, and up significantly over the last time I was there about 3 years ago, or I think I missed two. So it was. I look at attendance at these user groups as two things. One, the state of the economy, that companies feel good enough that they can send, good enough financially that they can send people. And second, how well the company itself is doing that's sponsoring the users group. Are they connecting with their users? Does it look good for them? And so that was an optimistic start to the thing, to the travels, and not didn't feel like there was a lot of significant announcements. A couple of things were that they are starting to put some significant money into upgrading instrumentation and sensing, which I find interesting because there's a lot of talk going on about Internet of Things. The start of Internet of Things has to do with sensors and various kinds of information coming up from the process unit or from the factory floor or wherever it might be, actually from personnel. And so I think that's significant that they're investing in that because the first step is that we have all of these sensors and information sources that are then connected, the internet, of course, and things, or all the things that are out there. Part of the things are the stuff sending information, and some of the parts that are receiving information and acting upon the information that comes through the controller. But it's not just all control, but part of the whole idea is that we're connected to some sort of database, to some sort of analytics, which is called manufacturing intelligence oftentimes. And so that not only can we modify our processes much better for much better control, but the people running things from operator to manager to general manager, plant manager to division managers and so on up the chain can get a sense of how things are going and what's going on. And so the Honeywell thing showed one symptom of this whole thing going on. I've had many conversations since then with companies interested in the Internet of Things for various reasons, from sensor to the software end of it and the networking in between. So I think there's a lot going on there, and I really expect to see some significant smaller, but maybe some larger acquisitions as the larger companies try to position themselves to take advantage of the Internet of Things, the industrial internet, as GE calls it, the connected enterprise, as Rockwell calls it. Speaking of Rockwell, I went to RSTechED, that's the Rockwell Software User Group. That was also in June. Both of these were in June. And that was interesting for another thing. Frank Kilushevitz, who's the senior vice president in charge of a big chunk of Rockwell, talked about there's a digital critical mass or inflection point that's coming in, and Rockwell's been pointing toward this for a long time, and putting a lot of spaces or a lot of emphasis in its products and connectivity through their Ethernet/IP protocol and so on, trying to take advantage of this connected enterprise, making everything work. And at RSTechED, they actually had a talk by their own VP of Operations, who has actually implemented an MES program, which is interesting, that somebody actually talks about MES, and then Rockwell talks about their own MES and how they connected it to their ERP platform, SAP, and what all that has meant for them, from supply chain to manufacturing to delivery, that they've really improved things, have been able to coordinate. Once you have multi-plants, things get very complicated from an operations management standpoint from a higher level. How do I coordinate all the plants? And that was a lot of that talk about how the connected enterprise from the bottom feeds enough information in such that division managers and upper level managers can get a better handle on how to do all that. Actually, on my way home from RSTechED, had a conversation and something that had been coming for quite a while, and it was decided that I leave maintenance technology, where I spent a few months. And while I was in maintenance technology, I kind of revamped the editorial product and put in a new website and put in email newsletters, things that position the company for long-term growth and profitability. And I'm happy with all that work I did. I'm happy to be back with the Manufacturing Connection. I put it on, not on hiatus exactly, but it was sure kind of in first gear instead of in drive for the last few months while I was really working hard on Maintenance Technology magazine. So back to this. For the last month, I've been cleaning up some projects. I work on consulting projects of various kinds and do some advising. And I had a number of those things that were intense, and some of them were very short term, but they expected a lot of work in a short amount of time. And so you have to crunch and do it. And so I did that. Looking forward to August. Next week I will be, this is August 1st right now, and next week I'll be in Austin at National Instruments NI Week. It'll be my 17th in a row. Looking forward to seeing my old friends. Although so many people have come and gone now as NI has transitioned from when I first went 16 years ago, it was kind of a smaller, more homey kind of atmosphere, and we were all like in a little, it was like coming back home. And I watched the transition over the last 10 years as they have grown from this small company to a big company. It's over $1 billion in sales now. They've structured a couple of different times along the way, and they seem to have hit on a structure now. Some really good people have left, but that's what always happens when you're growing and changing. Jack Welch lost a lot of people, and he said, "Hey, that's fine. I keep the ones." Well, he was an egotistical son of a gun anyway. He said, "I keep the ones I wanted. The rest of them we trained, and they could go somewhere else." And that's a little bit about what happens here as the company transitions. People are looking for different opportunities, and so some of my friends from the years ago are gone, and so. But it'll still be interesting. And the main reason I'm going to NI Week, it won't have any impact on my income, but it will have an impact on how I understand technology. It's a hugely deep technology company, and I'll find out what's going on chips and software and that sort of thing, and where industry is going as far as technology goes. And I'll use that in the future. September, I'll be heading out to the Profibus meetings in Arizona, probably going also to Emerson's Exchange. In the meantime, there's two other things. I don't know if I can afford to go to all of them, to be honest. One is a GE Intelligent Platforms is having a user conference. They do that just every great once in a while, but they're one of the division, well, it's not really a division, one of the units within GE that's key to the industrial internet, which is GE's big push. So Jeff Immelt, the CEO, will be there to talk on the industrial internet and some other things going on there. I'm not sure if I'll be there or not. And then Schneider / Invensys / Wonderware / Invensys Software. I don't know what they're called these days, but Schneider bought Invensys, as you know. And so the software group is having a user conference also in that September-October timeframe, and I'll see what's going on there. So I may run into you at some other time, or otherwise feel free to write. And until then, this is Gary Minchell. Happy to see you again, and happy to be back doing these, I hope, more regular podcasts / videocasts. Have a good day.